This speech almost awakened everyone, and it also awakened Kiesha. Yes, the odds of winning, as the liar, are indeed too high. Kiesha frowned. Why were his chances of winning so great? Lying to a group of strangers who don't know him or understand him, any random lie would be hard to see through. Could using a fake name really cost 8 lives? Or is the person who draws the liar card the chosen one, making this an inherently unfair game?
No.
Kiesha thought to himself.
If drawing the card means survival, why not just write life and death on the cards? That would make it easier to achieve the goal. Otherwise, what's the point of this nearly hour-long game?
A deep sense of unease spread through his heart. Kiesha kept replaying every word the goat-headed man had said. Could it be?
Hey, it's your turn.
Kiaja patted Kiesha. Only then did Kiesha snap out of his thoughts, noticing the strange looks from everyone. At this point, there was no time to overthink, or he would appear even more suspicious. He steadied himself and reorganized his thoughts. In his mind, he kept repeating the phrase, "My name is Li Ming. I'm from Shandu." But now was definitely not the time to use that answer. To find the solution to this game, he had to take a gamble. Kiesha opened his eyes and said to the group,
Everyone, my name is Kiesha. I'm from Shandong, and I'm a professional con artist.
"A con artist?" The moment Kiesha spoke, everyone exclaimed in surprise. After all, the con artist character had appeared in many of their stories. This con artist also vaguely connected everyone's stories. The irony was that they had to judge whether a con artist was telling the truth.
Before coming here, I was trying to clean up the 2 million in my hands. Anyway, it took some effort, but I ended up with 1.4 million. That was the most cost-effective method I could think of.
But on my way back with the money, I suddenly encountered an earthquake. When I reached my doorstep, I saw my house shaking violently. Normally, you should never enter a building in such a situation, as it could collapse at any moment. But I was worried about the people inside, so I had to rush in. Sure enough, as soon as I entered, the porch collapsed, trapping me and knocking me unconscious. Kiesha spoke in a calm tone, finishing the story in just a few sentences. Everyone stared at him warily. He knew he was taking a huge risk, but this was the only way to verify if his thoughts were correct. If the goat-headed man spoke now, it would mean his guess was almost certainly right. Just as Kiesha expected, the goat-headed man slowly stepped forward and said to the group,
Very well. Everyone has finished telling their stories. Now, there will be 20 minutes of free discussion. After that, each of you must write a name on the piece of paper in front of you.
Exactly.
Kiesha's eyebrows raised.
There really are 20 minutes.
Now everything made sense. The group began to panic. After all, only 20 minutes remained before their fates would be decided. Kiojajin and Li Shangwu both wanted to vote for each other, perhaps due to their professions, as they were filled with hostility. Dr. Zhao began questioning the writer Han Yimo, as Han Yimo's story had no connection to anyone else's. Lawyer Zhang and Zhao Ran seemed skeptical of Kiesha, while Lin Qin, Han Yimo, and Tian Tian were still hesitating. According to the surface rules, the liar was about to win this game. Because the votes were not unified, the rules were clear. Only if everyone correctly identified the liar could all 8 survive. Kiesha didn't participate in any discussions, silently closing his eyes. Countless clues swirled in his mind. The goat-headed man had said, among the storytellers, there is one and only one liar. The goat-headed man had said, the rules are absolute. The goat-headed man had said, you have all been asleep for 12 hours. Kiesha opened his eyes. Now, only one last piece of information was missing to solve this puzzle. But where was that information? Suddenly, a flash of insight struck him. The crisscrossing lines on the walls and floor instantly cleared his mind. He glanced at the clock on the table. It was almost 1 o'clock.
So that's how it is, ... Kiesha's
eyes widened.
That was close. I'm a con artist, yet I almost fell for your trick.
The others seemed to notice Keisha's unusual behavior, but this con artist had barely spoken from the start, so no one knew what he was thinking.
Hey, can I have another piece of paper?
Keisha asked the goat-headed man. Hearing this, the goat-headed man visibly hesitated, then tentatively asked,
You want another piece of paper?
Yes,
Keisha nodded.
I need a scratch pad.
Duh. Goat-headed man was silent for a long time before pulling another piece of paper from his suit pocket and handing it to Keisha. Keisha didn't hesitate, taking the paper and starting to calculate. He counted the large squares on the wall. There were 9 in total, and the squares on the floor and ceiling 16 in total.
If I'm not mistaken,
Keisha quickly scribbled something.
each square represents 1 square meter, meaning we're in a room that's 3 meters high and 4 meters long and wide. ... 4 times 4 times 3, 48 cubic meters.
Keisha's hand trembled slightly.
Not enough. It's completely insufficient.
The others stared at him in confusion. This was supposed to be a game about identifying the liar, yet he was doing math problems. He then wrote down several vertical calculations, eventually arriving at the numbers. 54.6, 安南 49.14. When he saw these numbers, Keisha's face turned ashen, as if he was trying to accept something. If his guess was completely correct, the current situation was truly horrifying. His eyes flickered, his thoughts already far away. The arguing among the group gradually quieted down. This man wasn't participating in any discussions, just constantly calculating something. Could he really have found the answer to this puzzle? After a long time, he finally looked up at the group. His eyes were filled with fear, hesitation, doubt, and confusion.
Everyone,
Kia cleared his throat and spoke softly.
I didn't want to save you, but if you choose wrong, I'll die too. I absolutely cannot die. Here, someone is waiting for me outside. So, no matter what, I have to find a way out. I can only reveal the answer now, and I hope you'll listen carefully.
Hey, what do you mean by answer?
Kia Jiajin, who was closest to Keisha, was slightly stunned.
Do you know who the liar is?
Keisha didn't answer. Instead, he picked up his identity card and slowly revealed it to the group.
This is the identity I drew.
Everyone looked closely. The words liar on the card were glaringly obvious.